You may receive a beard product package this summer with solid beard products in it like butter and balm, and it may be completely melted. It may be a liquid, so be careful. Don't open it and drop half of the product on the counter, spill some on your shirt and ruin a shirt. Or you may get those solid products in a state that they were not intended to get to you. It may be something that was one time creamy and beautiful, but now has grit, has a graininess to it. It has some pellets, some body to it that was not intended. Well, this happens in the shipping process. When these solids melt and re-solidify again, there's a crystallization that happens oftentimes with shea butter and some other ingredients, and it doesn't hurt the product at all. It's still perfectly fine, has all the same properties. It can just not be as aesthetically pleasing. It cannot be as easy to melt down in your hand. You got to chase those little pellets and grains all around, and that's just not any fun. But in this video, I'm gonna give you guys several different ways to bring that product back to its original glory. It'll be creamier and smoother than you ever imagined, and nothing in this video is an original idea. I have to say that. I did not invent these things. I did not research them and come up with some revolutionary thing. Companies like Live Bearded and Beard Brand have been telling consumers this for years now. But I get asked about this truly on a daily basis. If you've been in any of my live streams recently, people have been asking over and over again. So I thought I'd make a video, work on my editing and voiceover and video skills a little bit, have a little bit of fun with it, but really help get this message out to you guys so it helps you, the consumer that's paying for this product and wants to get it in the state that it was intended to. And I'll throw in a little bit of tips and stuff for companies to kind of tinker with, because there is stuff companies can do to help prevent this, even though some of it is just, it is what it is. So stay tuned, guys, for the intro, and then I'll break down a couple of angles, and I hope this helps you guys out today. If you receive a butter or balm and it is completely liquid, the good news is that's the easiest one to solve. Simply just put that product into the fridge for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long it takes to re-solidify again, and that thing should come out as smooth as a baby's butt and you are good to go. Now, if you receive a product and it is partially liquefied, it's partially solid, maybe it was on its side and so stuff is in the cap, or it is solid, but you have that grit, you have the grain, that pellet-like feel that's inside of there, that is when we need to now melt the product down and then cool it quickly in the fridge. You can also use the freezer, but I prefer the fridge in these situations. The most important thing is analyze what container it's in. If it is glass or plastic, you are going to use the microwave in increments of 15 or 10 seconds, which I'll show you in a little bit. And if it is metal, you are going to use the oven, toaster oven, or a candle warmer, wax melter, whatever those things are there. And I'm gonna show you guys both methods in just a second here. It's my first time ever doing a voiceover and some different things I'm trying to stretch my comfort zone with videography and really up my game, especially this summer. So I hope it works out. Haven't even done it yet. I'm filming this beforehand, but I'll show you guys these videos and I'll come back for a conclusion and wrap it all up and give some tips for the companies out there. This is a beard butter that is in a metal tin, and I'm going to melt this down in my toaster oven. Please disregard how dirty the toaster oven is. We have 3 children, and we like to eat a lot. Now, the temperature does not quite matter on the toaster oven because it's not going to get extremely hot. But if you are going to melt down your balm or butter in the oven, I recommend around 150 degrees. That tends to be really in the safe zone. Now, the time doesn't quite matter. You just need to watch and see when it becomes a liquid state. So I checked on it here. You see the solid mass in the middle? That's just some of the butter that has not melted down yet. So I'm going to stir it around, agitate it a little bit, but I know I'm really close. So I'm going to put it back in for another 15, 20 seconds. And you'll notice that I have a metal tray below it. I think that's really important in case you have any drips or any spills. I definitely did not spill right there and had to edit it out and cut to this part, but now you see that beautiful liquid state. I'm going to throw it in the refrigerator for about an hour, 2 hours, and you'll see the color change and see it become a solid state. Now we're switching to a much bigger butter, and this one is in a plastic container. I'm going to put this into the microwave for increments of 15 seconds to begin with. And this is really important because you do not want to melt the container. If you go in for a solid minute, 2 minutes, the container, the plastic is going to melt before the butter does. So when you're doing these 15 seconds, you're checking the butter on the inside to see if it's becoming in a liquid state, but you're also touching the side of the plastic and make sure that's not getting too hot or melting itself. So repeating this 3-4 times, however many times it takes here, and you stir it around because sometimes you'll see, oh wow, there is a lot of liquid underneath there. I know I'm getting closer. Now that I saw that I was closer, I've switched to 10-second increments, and now I'm going to take it out and test it. I'm going to look in here. All right, I still got a couple floaties. There's some solid in there. I'm going to go one more time for 10 seconds, and that should be completely good. I'm going to stir it around, and just like the other one, I'm now going to throw that into the refrigerator and let that sit until it looks like it's an absolute solid. Now, once it's ready, I take it out, and oh baby, look at this. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at how smooth that was. Beforehand, we had some grit. We had some graininess to it. Now it's nothing but a crystal glass lake. And look at this. Creamy, beautiful, like it was intended to be. Conclusion. What'd you guys think? How did it turn out? Hopefully it helps some people out there. And please remember, the key point of this is the container that it's in matters. You don't want to take a metal Balm tin, put it in the microwave. That's not going to turn out well for you. We don't need to do an experiment to figure out why. Just trust me on that one. Also, consumers, keep in mind, once a company ships the product, it is out of their hand at that point. It's going to the post office, UPS, FedEx, and then they have the control of the heating, the cooling, the temperatures, all of that, and that is what's causing most of these problems. But we now have the tools to bring it back to its original glory. Companies, a little bit of tips for you is please take a look at your ingredients, but also your creation processes, because there are things you can do to tip the odds in your favor. For example, shea butter. We love shea butter for all its benefits in beard butter and even in some balms. But there are two types. You have unrefined shea butter and you have varying levels of refined shea butter. Well, there are pros and cons to both. One of the pros for one of those sides is that it makes it better for heating and cooling, where the crystallization does not happen as much. So really do your due diligence and look into that. The second thing is the creation process. When you're making your butters and balms, of course you're making this in a liquid state, but then what are you doing for your cooling process? Are you letting it sit at room temperature? Are you flash freezing it? Are you putting it in a fridge? Are you putting it in a freezer? At what temperature are you doing that? Think about those things, really look into it, because it makes a difference with this process of melting and re-solidifying again. So hopefully that'll at least give some food for thought for companies, and they can talk to other owners, they can do their own research and find a process that's gonna work for them. Because as a consumer, it can be very frustrating to receive a product in a different state than what you saw pictures, than what you saw videos on. But as a consumer, you also have to understand the other side. I can't even imagine how many complaint emails companies have received. Well, hopefully the companies can just send them this link now and it will help them out. So challenge and question to leave you guys with, have you ever had any experience with this? Have you ever had a balm or butter that came to you melted or in a different state? Did you know what to do to fix it? Did you talk to the company? What is your experience in this? Did you have any challenges that I didn't cover? I would love to really open up the conversation and help a lot of people out on the company and the consumer side. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, if this helped you out in any way, please consider subscribing. My name's DanCBearded. Stay bearded and stay positive.